Cool. Okay, guys. Yeah, I mean, it's we're a couple minutes, I think, past 9. So maybe we can just kick things off and see if more people will come in as we get going. But yeah, just a quick intro here. So welcome to the Abelian monthly AMA series. So we bring on leading figures in the Web3 space and get their take on recent developments, key trends, hear about what they've been working on every month. And so this month we'll be taking a look at the state of affairs for crypto in the U.S. So we're fresh off the election. Markets seem to be going crazy after the Trump win. So we got 3 speakers from the U.S. markets, and so we'll be able to dive into the to all these topics and hear from them about what's been going on in the U.S. for the last year, and then what they're looking forward to in 2025. So yeah, thanks to the speakers for joining. Just a quick introduction. We have Scott Spiegel, who's co-founder and CEO of BitBasel. John Goldschmidt, who's the head of partnerships at Outlier Ventures, and Emmanuel Quezada, who's the founder and CEO of U-topia. So yeah, thanks again for joining, guys. And maybe before we get into the questions, we can just kind of go do a round robin. Everybody just introduce their companies and kind of what you guys are working on. So maybe we could just start with Scott and then John and Emmanuel.
How's it going? Thanks for having me, Sam, and the whole Abelian community. Scott, CEO of BitBasel. We have a tokenized art platform on Bitcoin and Definity Network. We're based here in Miami, Florida. I helped found the Bitcoin Center Miami in 2018, an offshoot of the Bitcoin Center New York. Really been spreading the decentralized technology community here in Miami, across the state of Florida, and also Latin America and the U.S. as well. Really helping try and onboard artists, different brands to Web3 with our platform.
Cool. Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, awesome. This is John Goldschmidt. Thanks again, Sam, for having us on here and everybody for joining. I'm with Outlier Ventures. Outlier Ventures has been around since 2014, making us kind of the oldest and also the most active Web3 accelerator. We have over 340, I think now, portfolio companies spread across all parts of the industry. I focus on partnerships, which means we run the programs generally in conjunction with other protocols or chains as kind of go-to-market partners. It helps us to kind of refine the thesis, and it helps ecosystems to develop more, faster, more reliably. And also we work with VCs who want to come in and get some of the early stage exposure that we have access to through our massive network of not only partners, but just in-house resources. We have around 80 people on staff who are, focused on really providing, like I said, kind of resources to founders, resources to the industry. We have a standalone token design team. We have engineers on staff. We have legal experts, all kinds of people that can really help founders get to the next level. And that's what we bring to the table in all of our programs. We run about 3 programs per quarter, focused on different themes, whether it's the geographic or like by industry segment or by ecosystem. So we're really active in the space, and I'm based in New York City. Outlier Ventures is headquartered in the UK, London, but we have folks all over the world. That's a little bit about me and us.
Cool. Thanks, John.
Dope. John, I think that I hear about Outlier Ventures around like 3-4 years ago. So yeah, a little bit about us. And by the way, great company. A little bit about us is we're U-topia. I'm the CEO, Emmanuel Quezada. We started around like 4 years ago in Australia. We become like quite rapidly a global ecosystem. We've been working a lot on everything that has to do with the fixing of the problems of the quick solutions where no one is working in the Web3, for example, adoption or like more RWA interactions from crypto to the daily basis. We have quite a ambitious mind where our dream is to be in the hands of people from all the ages, from kids to adults, meaning that we want to bring crypto for families, right? And yeah, right now we've been working a lot in United States, and I think that this is how we got attached into this call. Is that we're working a lot in the media and entertainment industry of United States, specifically Hollywood and as well all the big giants of the streaming, and we're helping them and as well onboarding them into like what is Web3. Yeah, so that's a high level of what we're doing right now.
Awesome. And you guys just launched a token just like a week ago or so, right?
Yeah, bro, I'm quite excited. Our token just pumped like 20% in the last hour. So yeah, you know how the market is crazy here and there. So yeah, it's just pumped. It's called U. It's just that's the ticker U.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Thank you, dude.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. That was a good introduction. So yeah, maybe we could just start with kind of getting the lay of the land of what's happening in the U.S. Just reading about the U.S. market over here in Asia, there's so much going on, it seems like, and there's so many different, I guess, hubs popping up across the country that I'm sure there's there's differences happening. What's happening in New York is different than what's happening in Miami, and which is different than what's happening in SF. And so I thought it'd be good to maybe get a little bit granular to start and just kind of learn about what's happening in your guys' like locales. Kind of give us a flavor for what the Miami crypto scene is known for, or like the niches that they're focusing on, and same with New York as well, John. And Emmanuel, I'm not sure what sort of hub, what you would consider your hub in the U.S., but it'd be good to get your perspective.
I'm more San Fran, like more San Francisco, more startup. More apps. So yeah, I think that there's like 3 DNAs, the DGens Miami, the DeFi, New York, and the startup San Francisco. So that's like the main hubs, and obviously the max is on Nashville, so on Tennessee. So yeah, there's a few DNAs in United States happening right now.
And you mentioned Hollywood as well. Are they?
Yeah, California.
LA. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe I just start, no? Or
yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's start in California.
Well, so what we're seeing in Cali and Silicon Valley and in LA is that a lot of big companies start to take serious crypto finally. Obviously, this is a big two different mindset because you have the people from the Miami guys, like the meme coiners that just suddenly make a viral peanut and coin and suddenly just go like skyrocket. And then, which is pretty nice, like it's pretty funny, but in the end, it's not sustainable long term. It's really rare to see a meme coin going to real utility, such as Shiba. So, what in the Silicon Valley side of things is happening is that, a lot of people are bridging, Web 2 to Web 3. So we see a lot of, business models that are really sustainable in the Web 2, such as Airbnb or Uber, switching into Web 3 as a startups, or these big companies jumping into crypto, catching up with the startups innovations. So from reward systems to payments on crypto, like payments processors, I think that's the hottest one and the one that all the VCs, maybe John can back me up on this, That's what the Cali and the San Fran vibes are providing.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure. My question for you is when it comes to AI, and I don't know if it's hard to have a conversation about literally anything without talking about AI these days. But obviously San Francisco is the place where most of it is happening. In my understanding was that in SF, crypto definitely takes very much of a back seat. But I would think that most of the conversations you have around crypto are in relation to AI. Is that not really the case?
Well, we have I don't know, there's an internal war, to be honest, between the Web3 dudes and the AI dudes.
Yeah.
And the only place where we're crossovering is decentralized computing power. That's where we merge pretty well. And because that's one of the main utilities of AI, you get me? That's where you can see that blockchain is going to have a massive impact. And then you have the native super OGs of AI coming at us and saying no, actually this is connected on another layer. But what I see is that the current layer of the internet cannot mix them yet. And even if the VCs want to invest on AI, they still don't need Web3 as a requirement to do the investment. And if the Web3 startups have an AI, I think that all the boosts from the startups, they're okay, we already hear this 20 times. So are you doing something new? And what is your plan to do that new? So that's what I hear on the streets. You get me?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I went to an investor summit yesterday alongside Web Summit in Lisbon, and there was a lot of focus on AI. There were probably just as many people there who were interested in crypto, but one of the really interesting points I heard about from an AI person in terms of their belief in the intersection of the convergence with crypto is more on the enterprises wanting to utilize crypto for provenance of training models and things like that, which makes a lot of sense too. But I think it's interesting you think about it more, or what you're hearing is more when it comes to infrastructure, and that's obviously another great intersection in order to kind of provide more compute, more infrastructure for AI.
Yeah, and I hear this before where the AI just takes over the provenance, but until now we haven't seen any ledger or any protocol that is actually scalable at the speed of AI, because freaking hell, AI is going super fast, dude. Super fast.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's
Wow.
I've been hearing provenance for the last 5-6 years on AI, especially in other parts of the world, such as Dubai, where the government is implementing this with blockchain, or Australia. In the United States, the government is not implementing it at all. But I still haven't seen any good product, and happy to, if you have, bro, let's just connect after this, and yeah, pass me that one. And what about the Scott? So Scott is more Miami than so he's the meme coiner here, or
I got kicked off stage, but I have to jump in. I got to defend my city.
come
Yeah.
on, bro,
What a
please
horrible
fight us.
characterization of the city. I mean, the true nature of Miami, if those of you that don't know, is that it's really the connecting point to Latin America. And so in
Dude.
terms of remittance, in terms of stablecoin usage, in terms of people that understand how, kind of economic freedom matters to a family or a country, that's what I think is the reason that Miami has been at the forefront of crypto Web3 adoption, not just this past year, as we see Florida is now dominating the White House, but really over the last 10 years. I mean, in 2019, the state of Florida passed their Crypto Blockchain FinTech Act. Mayor Suarez in 2020, as a Cuban American, went on the forefront as a leader for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So I would say between, that whole Latin American developing country flair and then also the arts, right? Like this is where pretty much, people aren't shy to crypto in Miami or Florida, where maybe in New York or San Fran, there's a little bit of like a looking down to the industry. And what's different here is that we're looking to embrace and always have been looking to embrace Web3 startups. And kind of from a university perspective, a government perspective, a restaurant perspective, you can walk around, Bitcoin accepted here, and from an arts perspective, which is how we kind of communicate all these values to our city. It's definitely not characterized as a meme coin degen capital. Maybe if you're spending nights at the 11 Club and Live nightclub
Lol.
when you come to Miami, that's what
I
you might
hear you.
think. But I've got to defend
Yeah,
my city here.
I didn't think you'd like that comment. Uh,
I
Lol.
got called by
Sorry, dude.
abuelas and abuelos, and I had to stand up.
Of course,
yeah, yeah.
bro. Sorry, bro. Too many influencers in Miami, bro. And the Lambo mindset is. You have to admit it, Scott. The Lambo mindset is there. Like I can hear it. Like when
I can hear it
when
out. I
the
can hear it out of my apartment right now. But of course, Miami, just like art, right? It kind of draws people in, but it's kind of what's underneath the cover of blockchain and Miami that is kind of what's brewing, and it's kind of showing the growth. Like I said, Trump and his whole White House is now Miami and Florida driven.
Is Mayor Suarez still getting paid in Bitcoin?
He is actually. Well, he updated that he is last month. So I think that's been for 3 or 4 years. I don't know how much of his salary, but
Yeah,
I think
And
he made a good bet there.
yeah.
yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with. I mean, I think there is obviously a lot more substance. I think it's just like in crypto in general, where people. And by the way, I mean, I think Miami's become a crypto hub in the U.S. And I think there are definitely things about it when it comes to art and NFTs and meme coins and things like that that from the outside look very non-substantive, but it still is important. And I think there's still a lot more under the surface that people dismiss, and I had a conversation yesterday about meme coins, and obviously some people it puts a kind of a black mark on the industry, makes people scoff a little bit, but it really is like, there are other parts you could equate it very much to like sports gambling or anything else where we accept it and it's just entertainment and it's fun. And I think we get away from the fact that there's a lot more, to life than enterprise use cases. The fact is that we need those, like we truly need those enterprise and like those things that are going to bring in, true like adoption, like long-standing adoption.
and
But
maybe let me apologize, but not apologize. Like I'm
Oh,
still
I'm
going
just
to
trying
give
to
a
talk
point.
to Chris on
no,
stage. I'm trying to make a
No,
better
like
statement here.
Imagine, you make a good point. You do make a good point. No need to apologize. I think it's good to have that debate for sure. Like
lol.
not
Yeah,
having that debate and not bringing up the point is like what lets kind of too much degen run
it's
rampant, and
it's
we
true.
don't want that either.
I
It's
just want to
true,
say
dude.
in Asia too, the stablecoin thesis is still the number one use case of crypto all over the world. So there
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
real adoption happening in developing countries, that people that don't have access to financial systems. And that's what, from the beginning and still is what blockchain's all about. So I agree, meme coins and enterprise, maybe that dominates, but we're talking about the US. It's a very US centric thing to talk about, when the big elephant in the room is that stablecoin usage is the top usage for crypto around the world, and that should be the lead story for our industry.
Okay, so because I like fights, and I think that fights are like more fun. Dude, for me, the bridge that are actually like, and it's US based as well. The bridge that is actually helping a lot on in terms of adoption of Latin America for me is actually Puerto Rico. With Brock Pierce jumping there, Tether as the primary stablecoin still dominating the market. these type of movements still like have a significant approach to Latin America. Now, talking about Miami, sorry, but in Miami the thing is that the people are really loud. Like most of the influencers of United States, they are in Miami. The KOLs, they are in Miami, and we need KOLs to reach mass adoptions. We need this loudness to scream to the world, hey, this technology helps everyone to grow. This technology is actually pretty cool, and it's not a scam. And you're always going to have the bad actors and the good actors, but I will say right now, Miami is definitely the voice for the masses on what is happening in the United States. If you allow me to say it, I don't know if you want to fight that one.
No, 100%. I mean, and Miami, and then you talked about Hollywood as well, right? Celebrities, though, right? And KOLs are super important, but sometimes we have like a crypto echo chamber. But how do we kind of bring in these celebrities and these large brands into this cycle again in like a way that they're not turned off? Because they were brought in last cycle, and a lot of them got burned. So we have people. There are influencers in the world. We have our crypto influencers, but then we have, like for our event in 2 weeks, we have Redman from the Wu-Tang Clan is coming in, Nappy Roots. We have Mims and Scott Page from Pink Floyd, but none of them are kind of doing this as a performance. They're all doing like a Web3 angle because they're interested, and like we need to onboard people, these celebrities, these big influencers that aren't Web3 the right way, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know if the meme coin has proven to be the right case yet, still to be determined, but there has to be sustainable models delivered in this cycle.
Yeah, I have an issue though. I think, well, first of all, I think with the U.S. election, while we're talking about since we are talking about the U.S., I think it was a referendum on the idea of other people telling you what to think, and in a way, like celebrities, like knowing anything actually, other than what they're good at, which is maybe music, maybe it's acting, but like it's not telling you what to do with your money or what to do, what are the right politics, that's for sure. So like I think there's a backlash on that, and I think rightfully so. And another thing that I've always been uncomfortable with is we have quote unquote KOLs who are shilling, talking about products or things that in a very like they're not disclosing in any way, shape, or form that they're being paid, right? Like you have to assume that they are, but like in any other space, when like an actor is promoting something, they're being paid to do it. But if you go and you see somebody you follow on X talking about something, you're not really sure why they're talking about it. I mean, there's no disclosure. So I feel like, I feel like that's a problem.
No, and currently in France, actually, like I think that they are pioneers on this. France doesn't allow the influencers to promote any product without saying that it's paid partnership, paid advertising. And
Yeah.
like that's a big one. Now, in terms of Hollywood and all this media, I don't feel sorry for the ones that are going to get scammed, because I can tell you right now, in this bull market, there's going to be people getting scammed. Especially like big celebrities, like any bull market. But I don't feel sorry for them because it's already time, guys. Like if all the information is free, everyone has. It's been years. Like it's been more than 15 years since the white paper got created. Like people should by now do your own research.
To be
You get
clear,
me?
what I'm saying though, to be clear, isn't that I feel bad for celebrities getting scammed. My point is that I feel like that I think people shouldn't give a shit what celebrities, excuse my French,
Lol.
there's a family program here.
Yeah.
But this is I don't think people should really care like what the Kardashians have to say about like some token.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that we're still in that spot after what just happened in the U.S.
But they're super smart. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Great
So,
financial
John,
advice coming from them.
Yeah.
John, you mentioned you brought up the election, or you mentioned the election just recently. I thought it would be good to maybe go a little bit more into that. If you guys don't mind, if you guys aren't tired of talking about it already. I'm sure it's been like top of mind in the US, but Yeah, it'd be good to
Yeah.
just kind of get your guys' opinion or take on the incoming administration, and like, what are you guys expecting from them? Is it for during the campaign, I was a little concerned that Trump was just pandering to, get the votes, but it seems like, he seems like he's really kind of going all in on this. So, like, just his cabinet, he's got Elon setting up the, what is it? The Department of Government Efficiency.
Doge. They actually
Right?
called it Doge, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think all the curtains are down and all the gloves are off. Like, I think that we're, first of all, we're so used to this narrative of Trump just pandering. And I think it's just like, I think he does some of that. He's a businessman. But I think it's like he speaks in, he speaks in hyperbole a lot. So like, that's where he gets in trouble, or that's where people kind of mistake what he's saying in a way. But I don't think I don't think there's ever been a time where he said something that hasn't been like directionally correct in the way he thinks. I mean, I'm sure you could find instances, but generally speaking, if he says that he believes in crypto emphatically and repeatedly, like he doesn't do that unless he intends to go in that direction.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's that, like, that's true. And I don't know if there's ever, you might find that like a time where, he said something in 2018 or whatever about the almighty dollar. But he made one, he made like a comment or two. It wasn't like that was part of his policy stance.
Right.
So I think when he makes a policy stance, like, the direction is not, it's not it's not just lip service. So, and then look, the way he got there was very, it was very true. Like, it was through Vivek, it was through Vivek Ramaswamy. It was, he really came in and became an advisor. And that's when Trump really started to bring it into his, like, as part of his policy. And so he surrounded himself with people that are good and know what they're talking about when it comes to this stuff. And even if he misarticulates it from time to time, it's like he's being advised by people who truly believe in it and believe in, like, the fact that we as a country need to go there.
Right.
So for me, it's a breath of fresh air. And I'll just say, like, it's like there's a cloud that's been lifted, and I think on the West in general, in Europe too, maybe not so, just in the sense that there's now going to be so much more innovation happening. And I think it's insanely bullish for Bitcoin to have a strategic reserve or something like that. But in general, just imagine, like, all the smart people who are building something in the United States that aren't necessarily building crypto, and they weren't doing it because they're afraid that they're going to go to jail, or that the thing that they're building is going to get shut down next year because of the government. And now that's complete. Like, all these smart people can say, there's a lot of opportunity in this space, and think about, like, I see this opportunity, I'm going to build something. Yeah. And so I think it's bullish for, like, everything. It's not just Bitcoin. Yeah. It's insanely bullish.
Yeah.
I mean,
Scott,
I just want to I think I want to echo what John said. I mean, we've had an administration the last 4 years that has been super, hostile towards technology in general. I think that's evident just from Elon Musk's stance of leaving California, going to Texas. Lena Khan at the FTC has blocked many M&A mergers without good reason. And then, of course, the SEC with the whole, blockchain and crypto industry. It's just been super hostile. So I think what you said, John, is right. Like, whether it's Vivek, but early on, Trump kind of found that coalition of technology, and that really backed them. Whether it's like David Sachs and the PayPal mafia, or Elon Musk, or Vivek, but kind of reaching into all of these platforms like X, like we're on now, to run this campaign. I definitely tech, which I don't think in 2016 was the case. I mean, Peter Thiel was supporting Trump, but that was kind of like an outlier. But I think there's been just a whole coalition shift of the technology community towards the Republicans in the last 2 years. So I think he really rode that wave, and that's a boon for our industry, for technology in general. And just from our perspective, my personal perspective, not our perspective, but that's a good win for capitalism as well and for economic growth. So there was a real hostile regime in place towards innovation and technology, which is never a good recipe.
Yeah.
It was amazing. When we were looking at Europe, who is like just regulates everything. In the U.S., we're looking at the Europeans and saying we're going to lose to the Europeans on this technology because we aren't able to embrace it. And now it's like gone 180. It was really sad to see that. And now it's like 180. And now, I'm here in Europe, like I said, and people are like, now everybody's feeling this FOMO, like, all this tech is going back to the US, and we're going to be in this situation again where the Googles and the Metas and Facebook and name the big tech company, none of them are in Europe because the US is more, allows competition and for the sake of some security, but look at what the result is.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I'm really sorry, go ahead, Emmanuel.
yeah, sure. Just like super quick, guys, like, I don't know if you are a little bit worried about this because every time that the United States sneezes, one catch the flu, all the world catch the flu. So, I mean, I trust that Trump, it was the best, definitely the best choice between the two candidates. I actually was more going for Bobby, more for Kennedy. But what I'm scared a little bit is that, okay, United States are going to catch up super fast with regulations. Now, what are the people that are actually advising Trump? What are going to be their takes on CBDCs? Because the CBDCs are coming. Like, it's not longer an illusion or it's not like happening next year. No, it's actually happening this year, like in November and in December. CBDCs are coming. So I see a lot of good things that are going to start happening, but the gray zones allow a lot of people for innovation into the crypto space, and definitely like Trump is going to come with new regulations, and I don't think that is going to be the Wild West anymore. In terms of United States, where people were doing everything with VPNs and no one got caught. I definitely think that there's going to be new regulations that are going to attach everyone to a new framework. And I hope that is good. I pray that is good. But we never know with this government.
Trump is very anti-CBDC, I thought. Didn't he say he would never do one?
That's what he said.
Yep.
Yeah, but
and I think that
the banks need it.
People around him.
Yeah, the banks need the framework. One thing is like tokenize the dollar, and another one like create a CBDC, and another one is create the infrastructure for the banking system, which is still the same regulations, dude. Like money is not free, and money is being monitored. So I don't believe that there's this amazing technology for control and provenance, and it's not going to be used. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm too paranoid.
No, I mean the CBDC is exactly what Trump is against, though. He's against like surveillance, and he's against at this point. He's been, he's been everything's been weaponized against him, and he's trying to make it so. He said this. I mean, it's a slogan, but he said, I'm taking all something along the lines of I'm taking all the heat, so you don't have to. And it's a little bit maybe cheesy, but it's kind of the way I truly believe he sees things now, which is like all these systems have been weaponized against the people, and he's just standing in the way now. So that's why we're seeing it all happening against him, right? And I truly don't think I think he understands the dangers of a CBDC. I think he's pro business, but he's not pro corporation at the expense of the people, which is what a CBDC represents.
Interesting. And do you think that he's going to run? Like, sorry if I'm asking two more questions, but do you guys think that he's going to run against the World Economic Forum and their CBDC's alternative for the current economic system? Because right now the worldwide agenda is the what was the name? I think that it was tokenized capitalism or like something like that allows everyone to bring the good and the bad things of both worlds together. But this is the agenda, like CBDCs are the agenda in the World Economic Forum. Do you think that they are going to fight against that?
I'll just say, I think he's proven in his last administration that he's not afraid of kind of going against the world elites with the climate change accord, whether it's good or bad. I don't think he's afraid of kind of saying, hey, we're out to anything. However, I think you make a good point, Emmanuel. Trump definitely, utilized the crypto platform, took in a lot of donations from the crypto and tech industry, and he won the presidency. But, in all honesty, he probably doesn't have blockchain or crypto policy within his top 5 main priorities right now. I mean, there's a real, there's wars going on around the world. There's a border crisis. There's inflation is running rampant, not rampant, but it's on the rise. So I think what Trump's main thing is making sure that the American people are happy with him. And I don't think he's going to show any loyalty to Bitcoin and crypto over that. So, I mean, hopefully he puts in, the advisors that can keep him straight, but always prepare for who knows if inflation runs wild and Bitcoin's pumping up, that could also be used against Bitcoin, right? Like in a narrative sense. And it really depends, what does the American people want? What's going to get people elected in 2 years for his administration and his House and Senate? So, hopefully that they have smart advisors that are really taking a nuanced approach to this and are really in his ear, because I think he can make trade-offs with our industry very quickly if there's other priorities.
Just last question on the election and Trump. If you guys had to guess, do you think he would start acquiring BTC for the strategic reserve? Do you think what's the likelihood that he would do that? Do you think?
I mean, he said he's going to, or he said that during the campaign for sure. And I'm just trying to think. I don't know. Does anybody know? I think there was actually another statement more recently from somebody in his proposed cabinet with that, to that regard.
I know Cynthia Loomis. I haven't been following. I know, but she said kind of over the last couple of days that she's pushing forward on the strategic reserve, and she's confident that that's gonna be pushed forward. To be honest, personally, I don't know what the outcomes of that is. Obviously, the Federal Reserve and the government has a balance sheet, and they own a lot of Bitcoin already. But I don't know if that hedges, is that a hedge against their, dollar dominance? I still think there's kind of a catch-22 at the end of the line with all of this, between, US dollar reserve currency and cryptocurrencies. So I don't think that's a clear path, unless I just really haven't been studying that the last year. It's exciting to talk about politics, but would love to really see an economic case for making a transition to a crypto or Bitcoin backed monetary policy. But I don't see a clear path there right now.
Yeah, because the main competitor that I can see right now for obviously is China, but with China comes BRICS. I don't know if you guys are aware of that policy, and they're pumping their own CBDC, right? So if US backed as dollar on crypto is going on Bitcoin, is going to be the new trend. I don't think that there is enough capital to match the markets, and if there is enough capital, there's going to be a massive internal war. Because just basing myself on what happened in El Salvador a few years ago, where Bitcoin was cheap and now it's getting more and more expensive, the population wasn't that happy, right? So, and not only the population, the big corporations, they're like, yo, why you guys are questioning those actions. Now the problem is with the United States is sadly is owned by the corporations and as well the Federal Reserve. So we're going to look into a massive internal fights happening on a weekly basis in order to that to happen. That's my take on that.
Yeah, I think to play the devil's advocate, I mentioned how bullish it is to have the Bitcoin as part of the strategic reserve and everything, but to take the other side of the coin, I think it is maybe it's about power. It's about power and control to some degree. they probably all recognize the importance that Bitcoin plays in creating the narrative around like central, kind of reserve currencies or world reserve currencies, and wanting to play a part in that is a good strategic move, but it also kind of flies in the face of the cypherpunk movement and like independence from, and having this currency that's independent from any kind of like government or powerful entity. And by owning a strategic portion of it, it kind of compromises that to some degree.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to be a pessimist, right? But it's just numbers. Right now, I think that all the gold in the world is 13 trillion. I don't know what is the market cap right now of Bitcoin, but even if it's at 10x from now, I don't think that from now to tomorrow we're going to see a 20% of ownership of the total Bitcoin coming from United States. Like, yeah, they have the capacity, but that is not happening. You get me?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, for sure. If it's not, it would never be like an amount that could compromise, I suppose, like the network. But still, I mean, it's enough. It could be enough that they can influence the price by buying and selling, potentially.
You're just making a good point, John. And I'm just thinking back to like the fork wars of 2016, and potentially like if it comes to a point where, yes, we want the U.S. to, from Trump's perspective, yes, we want the U.S. to adopt Bitcoin, but it's too private. We need to incorporate some transparency into the protocol. So now there's Trump Bitcoin fork. So I think something like that, whether it's from Trump or some others, there's going to be some chances to try and kind of remove that, immutability and kind of pseudonymity from Bitcoin's core layer. So that's an attack vector as well that, as more institutions get adopted to this, they might be not understanding the full picture of how this protocol works.
Yeah, possible. This is all just kind of hypothesis, I guess, right? So
that's always the best thing. Just make assumptions.
Yeah.
Well, if we can be sure that if the government goes against BlackRock, that is a possibility. You get me? Or against Block One, or like from the top 10 holders, MicroStrategy, like something can happen there. But like coming from the market's perspective and purchase, like I don't think that the United States has that amount of money to start recovering.
Mm-hmm. So let me just kind of change the subject real quick towards the VC side of things in the U.S. I think people would be interested to see or to hear what's what the VCs are kind of thinking about or looking into in the U.S. And I think 2022 from what I read was like the all-time high for VCs, both in number of deals and also the amount invested. 2023 was dropped pretty significantly, and it seems to be coming back. But I don't know, John, maybe you'd be the best one to kick things off here. But what are the VCs in the U.S. kind of looking at? Like, what are the narratives they're focusing on? And just kind of what are they paying attention to?
VCs in general, or I'm assuming you're talking just like the crypto. Yeah, sure.
Sorry, crypto these days, yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody has a different thesis. I think I'm just trying to think of like some of the ones that the guys I'm familiar with. I think AI is like a big focus. I think maybe you run into a few. Infrastructure is not as important anymore. I rarely come across a VC that's saying that they just want to focus on infrastructure.
Yeah.
I would say DePIN is a big one.
Right.
Everybody's interested in what's happening there. especially I think more so as it relates to like infrastructure around AI. But obviously it's a big, there's a big narrative there.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that, DeFi to some degree, I think people are, waiting, we're waiting to see what happened, with the election. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't, when it comes to like DeFi, and it comes to anything that's not just pretty straightforward, like payments and stablecoin type use cases. But things like I said, I mean, I think in a lot of places there was a little bit of a holding pattern until last week. So I'll be as interested as you are to kind of see how investors are repositioning. I think it's going to be a lot easier to raise funds now. It should be.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a big concern is everybody felt like their money had dried up a little bit, and there was a lot of risk in investing in the space from outside. And
Mm-hmm.
now I think it's just game on. I think we're going to see more funds popping up. We're going to see new funds, and we're going to see a lot more builders coming to the space.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
That's good.
That's really exciting to hear. I mean, if everyone knows the finger on the pulse, it's John. I'll just say kind of from our perspective, what we see as a great narrative more so from like this cycle is just the real world asset, whole ecosystem, right? Whether that's tokenizing treasury bonds, tokenizing real estate, tokenizing what we're doing, we're tokenizing physical artwork. I think just kind of tying people's perception of our industry back into a physical world, because maybe, they think crypto are these digital art or digital coins, but being able to tie that to the physical world, which requires smart regulation. I think that will drive a lot of, hopefully, non-Web3 investors now looking into this space and making them feel more comfortable that they can tie a physical asset to this technology. But it requires regulation for sure.
Yeah. So what I saw is that and by the way, guys, I'm not in United States, haha, lol. So I'm currently in Dubai. What I saw is that actually like the Arabic markets and the Asian market, they're super hyped about STOs, security token offers, where tokenizing companies can be the next IPO. So we're planning, U-topia is planning to do an IPO by the end of next year. We see that there is a massive interest. Definitely, finally, the liquidity is moving into the market. Switzerland is leading the path in terms of regulations, but we see that the Arabic market and the Asian market are really hyping into this. So we see that here I see that the people are pumping, and normally because a lot of the capital from Silicon Valley, and at least like what I can tell, the LPs are actually in Asia and the MENA region. We see that the trend is going to definitely influence the United States. So maybe we're going to see in the future more investment coming into tokenized equity than what it was before.
Okay. And I was talking with a friend the other day about like VCs investing in like equity or tokens. Do you guys see any like crypto VCs in the US doing equity, or is it all purely token raising for tokens?
They cannot go directly with token legally. A lot of them they're pushing into, unless that they have a framework outside the United States, right? So a lot of, or maybe John, you can help and comment on this. What I see is that a lot of them they're doing something called convertible note or equity with token warrant. So what they do is that they invest on equity, and as soon as there is another token, they as well have an upside or the option to switch from equity to token. And I hope that the regulation change, because direct investment to tokens should be more, well, it should be less hard for the common individual, not only VCs, as well LPs and angel investors. They are definitely more attracted to token because it's 100% more liquid and
Yeah.
faster to cash out instead of just wait
Yeah.
for the company to be acquired or an IPO.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think any entity that is not domiciled, or that is domiciled in the U.S. and is like trying to stay within the lines of the existing kind of regulatory framework, which is very unclear. So anybody that has like a traditional business and investing, they're just not touching tokens.
I see.
But yes, any that are, they're still obviously investors in the U.S. But they're domiciled. Like the fund itself is offshore, BVI or something like that.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. Yeah, maybe we're coming up on the hour. But just one, I guess, last question that I had for you guys is like in terms of events in the US, what were the best events you guys went to in 2024, and then what are the events you're planning on doing or going to in 2025?
Oh, can I go first?
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, so Bitcoin Nashville for sure. Like that was like the cherry on the top. For me, it was the top event. Great people. Like super sad for Miami guys that that Bitcoin moved to Nashville. I hear some rumors. So I know why. But yeah, like I'm super hype on that one. There's going to be another Bitcoin Mina in Abu Dhabi in December. So I'm going to be wait here until that happens. And the next one, for me, Puerto Rico is United States. I don't know what you guys have thoughts on that, but like for me, Puerto Rico is United States. There's one called Tokenize. Actually, Scott, the guy from Pink Floyd, he's going to be a speaker there, dude. And as well Brock Pierce, so and Scott. So definitely I'm going to that one. I'm applying to be a speaker. I hope that I get the slot there. So that one is the next one that I'm hyping, and this is happening this year. I don't plan my life more than 2 months from, but yeah, it's 1 month at a time, bro. It's
Yeah.
crypto nerds. You get me market change every week.
Emmanuel, we got to get you down to Miami. I'll see you in Puerto Rico at Tokenize. That's December 10th to the 11th with our friends at Transform Ventures, Michael Turpin. That's going to be awesome. I agree with you, Emmanuel, and I remember, hanging out with you in Nashville too. That was a lot of fun. I think Bitcoin Nashville, you're right. That was probably the top conference this year. We were at Consensus, which was great too. But I agree with you, and you kind of just brought me back some memories. But that week was pretty awesome, especially with, kind of Trump making his first announcement there. It was just a great pivotal moment. Thanks for giving me the stage. I mean, we have our big event, BitBasel. We're a tokenized art platform, but every December we throw a 7-day event during Miami Art Week, where some might be calling it Art Basel. We call it BitBasel. So for the last 5 years, we've kind of given the digital spin on Art Basel. We're taking over the historic Sagamore Hotel for 7 days, 7 nights. Scott Page from Pink Floyd. I mentioned Redman, the Nappy Roots, Mims, all talking about Web3 and music. But we also have over $1 billion of artwork being tokenized in that hotel. And I do mean that. I don't just say that frivolously. You can check our website, bitbasel.miami. We have 7 original Michelangelo sculptures that are going to be showcased in the lobby right in South Beach. Just from an art perspective, it's one of the biggest stories of the world. BitBasel has the rights to digital twin and fractionalize these pieces. So that's the big announcement from our side. And anyone here, please reach out to me. Happy to get you guys tickets Monday through Sunday, December 2nd to the 8th, BitBasel at the Sagamore Hotel.
Awesome. I'm going to try and make that for sure.
we never speak about what happened in Nashville. Eh? That's a secret, dude.
That's between me and Emmanuel.
Yeah. That was wild, bro. That was wild. Bitcoiners, bro. They never fail.
How did I miss
John,
that, man?
where are you
I
going,
was
John?
there. I think my favorite conference this year was probably Nashville, actually.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
with you guys. It was awesome. I think, I did, the thing I liked about, another conference always good is ETH Denver. I'm sorry to be missing it next year, but this year, the thing about ETH Denver is it's so just not corporate. It's just kind of, it's community driven. It's kind of the polar opposite from your token 2049, which is great, but it's just so massive and like, it's all about the booths and the swag. Whereas, I kind of like the grassroots a little more about Denver. And I feel like Bitcoin Nashville was a similar vibe where it was, where it's just it feels like it's a little more focused and like driven by like the ethos rather than like the corporations in a way. So I appreciate that. And I'd love to make it down next month to Puerto Rico and also to BitBasel. And sounds like that could be a good one. It's not, I haven't made any plans yet, but maybe that will be my next one.
Well, we got you on tickets, John. I say book your hotels now. They're going up fast, but that's exciting
I
to hear.
appreciate it. Sweet.
Hey, we should do a panel again there. Yeah, I'm keen.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, sounds like you might FOMO into Miami. I think we
Sounds
could do a
good.
panel.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Sam, we've been talking about it.
I
Yeah.
pin you up, guys. I pin you up. Let's do a group chat. Let's kick this off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet.
Okay.
Well, yeah, let's take this conversation offline and maybe wrap it up for the AMA. Yeah, I'll just say thanks a lot, guys. It was a great conversation. Yeah, enjoyed talking with you guys, and I'm sure the community and the listeners did as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, dude.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Soon.
Appreciate it.
God bless America. Trump won. Congratulations, guys.
Thank
See
you.
you in Puerto Rico, homies. Okay.
Cryptocurrency.
Thank
See
you
you,
all.
dude. Bye, bye.
All right.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.